Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bushwood Lights, where we keep the conversation light, enlightening, and engaging. So I'm your host, David Lamont. Today we're going to talk about military retirement. I'm going to call that the afterlife. I'm looking forward to the afterlife of being in the military. That's what this segment is called, the afterlife. Today I have with me two ladies with a combined 43 plus years of military experience, and each of them retiring as senior non-commissioned officers in the United States Air Force. Let me welcome United States Air Force retired Master Sergeant Latricia Long and Debbie Miller. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
So ladies, welcome to Bushwood Lights. Y'all are making history tonight. Y'all are the first guests on the first episode of Bushwood Lights. I mean, I'm excited. I'm glad y'all took the time to hang out with me and just post up this platform that I'm looking forward to just being on here on a regular basis. And you guys to be the first guest. So let's go. Let's go.
Can I make a comment real quick?
What?
I don't know if I really like the afterlife term because
hey.
I'm not ready for that. I mean, we got to come up with a different. Yeah, we got to come up with a different.
You don't consider retirement afterlife after that military life? I mean, it is resurrection from a military career.
No.
I'm gonna stick with that afterlife though. So what would you call it though? How would you describe your retirement as it is right now?
My retirement is great.
Yeah.
Living.
Living.
Not after life. Living. Living
not
life.
After, it's living current life, not the afterlife.
Living life.
How about you, Debbie? Is it afterlife or living?
No. Living current life. I concur with literature.
It's not. You should have consulted with us on that title.
Oh no. But you know, look, I gotta tell you that I feel reborn in this afterlife for real. I didn't even know. I can't make this about me. Let's talk about y'all. But since it's just
military life.
So you get it?
Life.
Yeah, you get it though. It plays into that. See what happens when you get people they want to challenge you on your title. This my title. This my show. Let me go with this afterlife. Let me ride with that.
You need people for your show. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, look, so check this out. So my intention is to begin each podcast with a quote or a song or something that's going to shape the discussion. And I want y'all to help me. I want y'all to guess this song. I can't sing, but I can read pretty well. I want y'all to see if y'all can guess this song, and it's going to help shape what we're going to talk about a little bit here this evening. You ready? Here we go. You see, man made the cars to take us over the road. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electric light to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like Noah made the ark. Who sang that song?
Siri. Who's
What did you say?
I don't know. She was about to ask Siri.
Listen, all I gotta do is say this, and y'all gonna know this is a man's world. Who's that?
James Brown.
James Brown. Those are lyrics of James Brown's song. But he finishes it with, this is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing, not one little thing without a woman or a girl. He's lost in the wilderness. He's lost in the bitterness. And I was looking at that. First off, James Brown wrote this with a lady, and I don't know where that came from. And really, as I'm looking, I'm still trying to figure out the true intention behind the song. And it's only like a 2 minute 30 second song. It's a man's world. But those first lyrics just really got me about what man did. So I wondered, ladies, did you find your time in the military to be exactly that, a man's world? And if so, how did you navigate that man's world?
I'll go first. I don't think so. Not for me personally. If anything, I would say closer to the end of my career, but not in the beginning. And me, I've done 3 branches about 5 components.
Mhm.
So Army time overseas, besides, basic training, AIT, no problems, anything of that nature. Everything was great. Even once I came back to the States, everything was great, never any issues. I don't think until it was towards the end of my career when there was a male supervisor that it became like that.
Mhm.
So, and I felt that he felt, and I would say this, I think the military saved a lot of people. I'll say that. And the reason why I say that is because today, that same person, he couldn't talk to me today like he did back then.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's why I say that.
So,
And
yeah.
I have to agree with Latricia. I haven't had issue with men in the military. Females, yes.
Yeah.
Black females, yes. But
Yeah.
that's another thing. But yes, I haven't either. I mean, I have seen the good old boy system still there,
Mhm.
but I look at the good old boy system not so much as males, but more so white males.
Mhm. Well, I thought that even women in leadership roles at times acquiesced or backed off of positions because there was a man in the room, there was a man either speaking with a little bit more rank, and that's where I'm doing with that is that it's like they men still rule in certain positions, right? And I felt like just even from where I was sitting at times, it looked like, you gonna let this lady speak or not?
Right.
And they just kind of dominated conversations. They kind of shaped what people. If you were going to take a vote on something, there was some guy that had a stronger voice than what that lady just said, and everybody kind of shifted in that direction. And that's how I kind of feel like that it was still a man's world, and even in the military. So that's where I was going with that whole thing.
Okay.
So
Now, are you speaking of more officers and senior leadership?
I think it's across the board. From enlisted ranks all the way up to the officer ranks. I think it's still male dominated,
Yeah.
I think women pulled back based off of who was in the room. That's just what I was thinking. So.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate that. Hey, so you guys have been in for a long time. Do you even remember the president that was in office when you enlisted?
Oh.
Yeah, I remember the first.
Oh, when I enlisted.
Who was?
Let me look up Siri.
Oh, you so that's how long it's been, right? You don't even know.
Yeah.
I think I know who mine was.
Oh, so that's crazy because it. That's what. Oh my God! Let me throw that card away. But whoever, I don't know. I've been in so long. I don't remember the price. I was there when Barack was there. He's on my certificate, right? Is that? Oh my goodness! But so then,
mine was the senior book.
Was that?
Mine was Bill Clinton.
So yeah, so you were 92 and after then that
91.
Yeah, so that's when you were 91, Trish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I was in for Bush Senior as well. That's when I enlisted with Bush. Wow, that went kind of like I thought it would go.
Whatever.
I mean, but y'all ain't even 50 yet, though, are y'all?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
For reals? Hey,
Yes.
So how much of your personal background influenced your decision to enlist, though? So, without going into detail, unless you want to, what about your growth and your adolescence that said, "Hey, I'm going to join the military"?
For me, I pretty much grew up outside of military base.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just one of the things I've always wanted to do. I always said that I was going to work in banking when how people ask you what you're going to do and when you're a child, what you're going to do.
Right.
I was going to work with the money. And of course I did accounting, finance, things of that nature. Right. But that was part of my reason. And I knew I wanted to travel. you know, whatever. Then as I got older, I also knew that they helped, you know, with paying for school and things of that nature. But that was my reasoning.
Yeah, initially, because you're right there, you see it all the time. It's outside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was a positive thing to see folks in the military. Then.
Yes.
Okay. Dad.
For me, I was a single parent, so I came into military for medical for me and my child, paycheck, benefits. That was the real reason I originally enlisted, and then to get my education.
Yo, that's a heck of a segue because what I was gonna ask is, I mean, even in retirement, the benefits that we get or we're receiving from the military are totally unmatched, right? So I get an argument all the time when I say, and you guys feel free to throw at me, but like I think the military is the best welfare program, and you know, and I say welfare, and that's probably offensive, but my gosh, I mean, did they take care of you or not? And you know, because of those 20 plus years, aren't they continuing to take care of you? True or false?
That would be true, but my situation is different.
Yeah.
Because I was in active duty for a good while. I did get out the military for a while, did the Guard and Reserves, and then eventually went back in AGR.
Yeah.
So for me, and then because I semi got out abruptly, I still don't get my benefits technically until the age of 60. Now they have been putting different things in place trying to get that changed. And I know for years they talk about age 55, that hasn't happened yet. But and then there's been other things where they talk about depending on the type of orders you're on, but like all my AGR orders, they do not count. So
Right.
but is still I go to the VA, so I'm taken care of.
All right. Yeah. So you know, yeah, one of I found the VA to be a process that most people are frustrated with, but I think they're doing the best they can given what they're working with, and a lot of times the VA, they're trying to catch something that people had a long time ago without any records.
And I also that is
Yeah.
depends on where they go, because you know, for
Right.
me, I moved around a lot, but I haven't had any issues like a frustration.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, good. Debbie, is it a welfare program? One of the best welfare programs out there? Is that what the military is?
I mean, you can't beat it. Example is my cousin. He has Medicare.
Mhm.
He pays $170 a month just for his Medicare. I pay what, $25 a month for my Medicare,
Right.
and I get free prescriptions as long as I go to the VA.
Right.
I mean, or if it's with if I go to Walgreens, so we're talking military, not VA.
Mhm.
For my TRICARE, it's what, $2, $5. I'm sure his prescriptions are a lot more.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, yes, it is a good medical plan.
Yeah. So when I said I used the word welfare to a gentleman once, and he went off and basically said that, you know what, man, those people out there didn't fight for their country. They didn't put on these boots and they didn't put on this uniform. And I didn't laugh, but I felt like because I understood what he was saying. But I mean, but when you think about it, right, the person that works at Walmart that makes whatever they make an hour, they don't get a raise every year. Like we catching a raise every year. We don't even we don't have to go in no manager's office and complain about it. You know what I mean? And so that's why I say it's the best or the greatest welfare program out there. But in fairness, you put in that time, right? So that's like your severance pay. You put in that time, and to my man's point, where you absolutely not being just all the way down to putting on the boots and the uniform, but those TDYs and that 24-hour a day thing that you're subjected to being in the military, that you earned it. We absolutely earned it.
Right.
But I do, man, I get it. I mean, and I didn't realize it until I was retired. When for real, when I went to the grocery store, because I was a commissary dude. You know what I mean? I mean, I go to the grocery store to pick up one or two things. But for the bulk of it was going to commissary. But when I man, when you go to a regular store and you be like, bro, I ain't even
Let me tell you what
I did a cost comparison before.
when I first ended up moving to Atlanta,
right.
was like, where is the commissary?
Yeah.
And this girl, even Dobbins Air Force Base that I used to be there as a reservist years ago, used to have a small commissary. And I
Right.
reached out to a young lady that, met through the Guard, and she lived in the Atlanta area, and she said, Kroger is your new commissary.
Whoa. Yo.
I was
Yeah,
saying mine.
I get it. I mean, once I was at when I was in Brandywine, Maryland, and I went to the Safeway right over there off of 301. And man, I was walking in and this brother was running out, pushing a full cart of groceries, man. And he dumped them groceries in his car and took off. And I was like, well, really, somebody told him to go to the grocery store. He ain't had enough money to dump that stuff in there. But I don't condone it, but I can understand.
Right.
The grocery price is crazy, man. There's folks now complaining about eggs. I don't know how much they cost, you know what I mean? But on a regular, but I ain't been to the commissary either here in Charlotte. I got to run an hour and 15 minutes to get down to Fort Jackson. I may as well go ahead and buy these Food Line groceries.
Right.
Oh yeah, my experience went to Safeway in Waldorf.
Yeah.
And was getting the kielbasa sausage, $2.50. I did not buy it because the commissary cost $1.25. I'm not gonna buy two. I mean, come on into the math. It's like, what?
Keep that $1.25.
You know how they go in the store, and if the meat is like a couple of cents difference, you gonna put one back because
Well,
I get two for this price.
Listen, man, that ground turkey, man. I ain't buying no ground turkey in no grocery store. We head to the commissary. But those pennies, man, those benefits. And I know it's not. I mean, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Those 20 plus years that you put in, you absolutely deserve all that. And Congress can talk about a lot of things, but they don't mess with those military benefits, which I think is a good thing. There's just too many people that are seriously jacked up. You know what I mean? That they absolutely deserve that. They earn those benefits. Even though I call it a big welfare thing, and a lot of that is because some of us don't have the empathy that we should have for folks that are struggling. You know what I mean?
Everybody should.
Yeah, absolutely. But because our military brothers and sisters sometimes get this attitude that they should get a job, they should get off their lazy butts. Like, bruh, remember that leave you took that you ain't really have yet? You know what I mean? So all of that stuff, man. Well, that was the other thing too that I realized in retirement. I was looking for a job, ain't found one, don't want one really. Turned down a couple jobs, but one job that I was interviewing for, and they told me that you earn 2.5 days a year of leave. I said, what?
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 2.5 days.
What? What? I mean, that's a no right there, man.
Wow.
Do with 2.5 days a year.
Like, what I'm gonna do with that?
What am I gonna do with that? You just don't want me to work here. Thank you, Mr. Bowman. We don't. That's like I called my daughter. I said, "Hey, wait a minute. I'm used to 30 days a year. I'm what? And then the holidays. Who took leave over the holidays on the real? 2.5 days a year. I'm sad, man. All right. Let's go back. All right, fill in the blank, ladies. Fill in the blank. This is your thought. When I retire, I'm going to what? What were you saying? You were leading up to retirement. You were saying, when I retire, what were you going to do?
I was not going to work.
Not going to work.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything. I got you. Yeah. I said I'm not going to shave. I ain't shaving. Never. Never.
You shaved that head, though. You shaved that head, though.
I got no choice. Hey.
At least you did let it go. At least you let it go.
Hold up, man. You're not gonna hijack my show with
Oh. Sorry, my bad.
Hold up, man. So no, yeah, pretty much I had no choice because once you start, you're either gonna have that little side fade.
Or you go color it in with the black marker.
You know me,
So let it-
the upgraded toupees now.
Well, I'm not even gonna look into that, but I'm okay. I appreciate that though,
Look,
man.
you look good, David. So you good. You don't need a toupee.
No. It's too gone. It's too gone. Hey, so, oh man, hold up. What advice would you give your 17-year-old self? You spent 20 plus years in the military. What advice would you give your 17-year-old self?
I personally, I felt that I was a person that always looked for the future. I do believe you should plan for the future. However, I believe you should live more in the moment.
Got you.
And I had to learn that.
And you learned that at what point in your life? You learned that now in retirement?
Today. No, I'm just playing. It was probably in my late, I would say probably about in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 17-year-old Debbie, what are you going to tell her?
I would tell 17-year-old Debbie to do her due diligence and her research exactly on what she wants to do.
Yeah. So
that's one thing I did not do.
Got you. What would you tell someone that's pending retirement? Let's say retirement in the next 6 months to a year, and they're a little worried about it. What advice would you give someone that's heading into retirement?
I would say, number one, have your finances in order. And I don't think people, even at a young age, I just don't think it's being taught enough. And I know at the same time, we go sometimes generation to generation where some parents don't know, so they don't know how to teach so forth. But I still think that needs to be stressed in the military. I believe everybody should apply for their VA benefits. There's some people that have this pride or, oh, I'm good, this or I'm that. But I'll give you a prime example. When COVID happened, people that did, let's just say, retire from the military, or let's just say they got out and didn't actually have a retirement. They didn't do they didn't go for VA benefits. And then when COVID happened, you lost your job and now you have no income coming in. However, if you apply for those benefits, at least you knew you had that check coming in.
Right.
But those are your finances. Apply for your benefits. They're there. Just like when you go to school, everybody starts with an A, and then it's up to you what you're going to get. Everybody starts at 100. They have to have the money. And then you go down, but you have to apply for it, and don't just stop because somebody tells you no.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Deb? Any?
To add a little bit onto that, I mean, Latricia hit mainly all of it, but definitely I would get them at the 2-year mark, preferably. Get that, what's that called? The class, you know what I'm saying? So I can't think of it now. Yes, tax. They have to go through that. And I say go through it more than once, regardless of what the leadership says, because it is authorized per the AFI. But that, which taps all of that, will help with all your VA and your finances. OMG, that is, Latricia hit it on the nose. Finances is really not taught, and it needs to be.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys hit all the things that I've been telling folks. The only thing that I would add, and that is, I think everybody should go visit behavioral health and sit down and talk to somebody because I haven't slept a full night for real since I retired, and I don't even know why. So
your body.
It's probably, say again.
There. Your body. Yeah. That's how I was. I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Why am I waking up so early?
Why? Yeah. I mean, just like I ain't got nowhere to go. Just that, but that's a part of it. The insomnia. There are folks with straight up anxiety about just what are they going to do next.
Yes.
So I tell them to go ahead and get a mental evaluation. Not that and that's a scary word, but I think that you should talk to somebody on the way out.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
because and they need to stop with that scary word. There's nothing to be afraid of. Mental health is nothing to be afraid of. It really isn't. we need to really change our mindset on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But so the finance part is good too, because I think if you're 2 years out from retirement and you go buy this nice car and that's $1,000 car note and your money gets cut by, man, I mean, what, 70%, 75%, whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, boom, that check is cut. That's not a smart decision. And and it's tough to tell people, well, I mean, if you got it, you got it. But if you don't, because if you're waiting on your paycheck, which is going to be delayed by about a month or maybe 2 months, you're putting yourself in the hole right into retirement. So I think that's good advice on the finances in order and knowing what not to buy as you head into retirement. But you probably need to prepare a little further out than that.
Yeah, because it's going to be an adjustment, and
Big adjustment.
Yeah. Ready for that, because like you said, depending on where you were stationed at, and like us, our BAH man was off the chain.
Yeah,
right.
But is that another benefit?
That's what no, when you get that cut.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
or you
you
get your
consider all that, and then you got to think about thinking about where you want to be. Like me personally, everybody knows I love the DMV area. However, I had to get to a point, especially since I'm technically I'm not getting my retirement check just yet. And I get benefits. I have to make sure if I want to live a certain way that I can afford it. You know what I'm saying? That was part of my reason of relocating based on what state would be better for me as far as beneficial. I would say overall beneficial.
Oh, I agree.
I concur with her because that's exactly why I moved. Well, one of the main reasons I did love Texas when I came here as a TDY and said I was going to retire here. But then learning out all the benefits that Texas has to offer for military, they love the military here. So, and then the cost of living, of course, is a lot cheaper here than in the DMV area as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that Texas military love in another session. Because I do want to know. I want to learn about that. The great state of Texas.
Debbie, he told us not to hijack his.
No. I mean, I want to talk about Texas, but so I mean, again, y'all been in. I'm gonna keep hopping on how long y'all been in. Any one piece of military advice that you got that you would pass on, whether it was a leadership style or leadership decision making process or just how to take care of people, any one piece of advice that you would pass on?
That you saying that from a military person?
Or let you learn while you were in the military.
Only one piece of advice?
Oh, you can give me more, but I would take a top one.
I would suggest finding a mentor. Finding you a mentor. I personally never had a military mentor. So I would think it would be great and then they don't necessarily have to seek you out. Find somebody that you see and, just kind of ask them to get under their wing to, figure out some things, some ropes, how best to proceed. They want to, go up and rank, what they need to take care of, things of that nature.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. Go find a mentor early. Find a mentor early. Yeah. What about you, Deborah? You riding with that one?
Like that. I'll add, don't let anyone tell you can't do anything.
Yeah. I got you. So would y'all do it all over again? You were in there, would you do it all over again?
I would too. I would just a couple portions I would have done a little differently, but I would have. Because I actually did not have a bad military experience. I had a bad military ending, but not a bad military experience. And that's the hardest, the most hurtful part is going through your 20 years and you're having literally a flawless record, career, everything. In your last year or two of your life, you have someone that just literally can wreck it for something stupid, for just dumb.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think that's part of me. That was the same thing for me, where I felt there was a time where I thought I was going to be sitting in the same seat until I walked out the door. But
Yeah.
then unfortunately in the office, you had an individual that it seemed like it never, in leadership, that it never failed, that somebody ended up on this person's list. So when my time came, it became a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I have got to get out of this position. So then I moved on. And then I was fine for several years. And then like Debbie, once what was that force thing that they started?
Yeah, the
management, development.
force development.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I think
Yeah.
was bull crap. But so, because some of us, we go and retrain for something that we want to do, and then you force manage them back into something they did not want to do. And that's how when mine ended. And then I also started dealing with some ignorant ass leadership people.
Mhm.
So then I looked at my paperwork and I said, oh, I got enough time, I'm out. So I was there, maybe I think I moved over in October. By December, I started processing my paperwork. But hadn't it been for that, I probably still would have been there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go through that same thing I had just went through almost 10 years prior. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love, but overall, my whole, even going from branch to branch, I had a great experience. It's just those two incidents that kind of, at one point I let it kind of override the greatness, but then at the while, like I said, they can't talk to me today that way they did back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty sad because I had two incidents. One, and then mine was about 4 years apart.
Mhm.
My first one supervisor that it drove me to mental health. I actually was seeking mental health while I was in the military. There's nothing wrong with that because you got your HIPAA. They don't, as long as you're not, your suicide, harming people, things like that.
Right.
You can go and talk to someone, and talking while you're in, and actually that would probably help if you have that supervisor who is getting on your nerves. Go seek mental health. Talk to them at least if you can't talk to your leadership. Because I couldn't. It was just like one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And then I had mine 4 years later, and at that point I was like, okay, I'm too old. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And I was not trying to lay hands on anyone, so I had to remove myself from the military.
Right. But and through all of the things y'all said, y'all still said y'all would do it again. And I think that's a testament to your character and to your development and growth going through it to say, yeah, I could do it again. And I get it. You would do it a little bit differently, but you absolutely would do it again. And that's a testament to your character, though. So you know what, man, time goes by pretty fast when you're having fun. I'm gonna let y'all go with this one last question. So at your house, do you play Uno with your rules, or do you play rules by the manufacturer?
I play manufacturing.
Okay, I don't know, but at the end of the day, Black people are not looking at the insurance, so we're gonna play it the way we want to play it.
We're gonna play the way we want to play. You're gonna stack them draw fours. You're gonna stack them draw twos. Everything.
You can't do that.
No, you ain't supposed to do that. See,
okay, I guess I'll play my rules.
That's how people be playing Uno, man. You can't stack all them draw fours.
You can't do that.
No. See, everybody play their own house rules, man. Oh man, that's crazy. So, hey, Debbie, Latricia, I really appreciate y'all time, man. Thanks for being here with me. It's good the connections you make in the military, man, and I think we should maintain and stay connected, whether we do it through this platform or another platform. But I'm gonna let y'all roll with that. Thanks a lot for joining me today, and look at it on Bushwood Lights, man. I'll give y'all an update on that.
Appreciate
it.
I appreciate you.
All right,
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 1 of Bushwood Lights. Appreciate y'all joining in and checking us out. And you know what? Check back for more updates as I pop some videos in there. Look forward to hearing your comments on the content. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.